Alright y'all, so this is a not normal video for me, as what you're looking at is a Chrysler motor 3.8 Pacifica 2005 to be exact, and this is what I use sometimes to transport the equipment. What we're doing today is changing out the radiator. Now, there's a couple of videos that I've seen on here. Some were clear, some weren't. I'm going to try to make this as clear as possible. There was one guy that even went as far as taking off the bumper to take out this radiator. Now, I've gotten to the radiator several times. I've worked on this vehicle myself, even when my sister had it. The vehicle was parked up for a while. I got rid of my van, for some of you that have been following me for a while, and started transporting everything in this, and it works out fine. It's better on gas. Took it out of town a couple of times already. Haven't had any issues. As you can see, I put on new spark plug wires as well as the distributor. All of that done myself. Did the spark plugs and everything else myself. Just did the starter a couple of weeks ago, and it was a little pain in the butt because I had to take all of this off, the exhaust manifold, all of that off right there just to get to the starter. So we're going to do this video here with the radiator. Now, everything else have been changed on the radiator, including the expansion tank over here. That is brand new, as well as the radiator cap, the top radiator hose, as well as the bottom hose, which you can't see from up here. The bottom hose was, it was a dealer part. No one had it. I looked up and found two people that had it, and the dealer was still cheaper than the other person that had it. And I believe that they were probably getting it from the dealer and marking it up. So again, we're getting ready to do this video real quick. Changing the radiator on an 05 Pacifica. So let's get started here. What I'm going to do now, these plastic tabs here is going all the way across. All of these will be coming out. You can pop them out with a flathead screwdriver. I got the special tool for it, which I don't know why it zoomed in, but hang on. All right, there we go. All to do is just go up under like that, squeeze it, and it popped up and landed over here by the air filter. Okay, this is what it looked like. Again, you can pop those out with regular flathead screwdriver, or if you got one of these tools here, it comes in very, very handy. So let's pop that out real quick. Okay, so I got them all out. Next thing you want to do is to unscrew these screws here on the front grille. Again, all of this is plastic, so you're going to unscrew all of these from off of the front grille. Alright, so I got all of the screws out. The screws are metal screws, they're not plastic. Just give you a little tip on something. I suggest that you guys get one of these metal trays here. It's a magnetic tray. You can just stick it anywhere on here. I'm going to stick it right there for now. That way, I'll leave it there. That way, I can reach everything real quick. So after you take that out, you have two bolts, which I got one out already. That one there. And you have this one here. So I believe that was probably a 10 mil. Not sure, but I'm using a 1332, and I'm got it hooked up to a Black & Decker drill. Another thing that I'm using that goes into the drill easy, got this from Harbor Freight. Got multiple sizes on there, and the inside is magnetic. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off right now. See that? That's how simple it is. Okay, so now that plastic piece is out of the way. I'm gonna run through this real quick, but it's gonna be detailed. I had a hard time trying to take this off before while I was working on the starter. You definitely want this out of your way. So instead of just taking this off, here's what you're gonna do. This is where it gets easier. You're gonna remove these two bolts. Go to the other side. Remove these two bolts as well. That's gonna take away that whole section for that crossbar. You're also gonna take off this bolt here, which holds the accelerator cable and the cable for the not overdrive, for the cruise control. You're gonna take that off as well. Once you take those off, you should get through pretty quickly. And then this will get this entire thing out of your way. You also have a bolt right here and another bolt here, which is also going to come off. These plastic tabs, you got one there, two in the middle, there, and there's another one there. There's actually 6 total. I'm missing one right there. So there's 6 of those. You can all pop those out with a flathead screwdriver or the pull tool that I showed you. So let me get those off real quick. And if you want one other tip, if you really want to make things easier, this whole grill just comes right out. All it is just hooked behind this plastic here. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to remove the plastic tabs and the bolt that I just showed you. All right, y'all, so I got that crossbar off, as you can see. I just put it aside. The holder for the accelerator cable and cruise control, I just put that aside also. And now this one is the radiator. So the other things that I gotta disconnect from it, the fan is partially disconnected. So I'm gonna unplug the 2 fans, or the fan assembly. Unplug one right there and the other one right there. Basically you just squeeze those and pull them out. This right here, some of mine are broken. As you can see, somebody else worked on it. This was tied back in, which is fine. It's not going to get in the way of the fan. So the fan assembly is going to come straight out. You're going to clamp down on the hose clamp for the upper hose there. And there's one on the bottom, which I might have to get from the bottom. I did not put this same clamp back on. I put one of the other clamps where you got to screw it on. So let me get to that real quick, and then we'll go from there. All right, so you got the fan assembly loose. The only thing that's stopping it now, I have to get down to. Let's see if I can get it down there. Hang on, let me cut the light on. Okay, as you can see, the bottom hose down there with the old style clamp on it, where you can use a flathead, or not sure what size screw that is, but I'm gonna find out in a little bit to take that off. And I got it set that you can take it off from the top. That's it right there. And as you can see, there's some rust around it, and I know for sure that this radiator was leaking. And as you can see on the fins right there, that's where it was leaking from, on the side and on this side as well. Now what brought me to this was I heard a little hissing noise Saturday night when I was leaving from one event going to another. So that's the only thing that's stopping it right now. I'm gonna get to that hose real quick. Okay, so I got the bottom hose off. Before I pull this out, let me show you guys something real quick. In between the AC condenser core, which that's the one to the front, radiator is behind it. You look down there to the bottom. Well, camera dying now, so I can't get it up there. But I'm gonna show you guys once I pull it out. So let me lift this up. see this right here, that is hooked up on the condenser core. So you got to lift up on the condenser core in order to get the radiator out on both sides. Alright, so real quick, everything is put back together. This is day 2 on this. I put everything back together last night, but the video would have come out too dark once I put everything back together. A couple of quick tips here. The expansion tank. You'll have to continue putting coolant in there, especially on these Chryslers. You want to do them with focus here, with straight coolant. You don't need to mix water with them, and it might take like 2 bottles or so to do that. Maybe a little bit more. If you run a little bit short, then you can add a little bit of water to it. That's fine. I'm running straight coolant on mine right now. One quick note on the radiator: you have this air release valve here. It is not a drain for it. The drain is actually on the bottom on the opposite side. This one here is just to get the air out of it. If you end up getting air into your cooling system on these vehicles here, I was told by another mechanic that it can run hot. I've had that happen to me before. That once I got my water pump done, there was still air in the line or in the cooling system, and it caused it to run hot. So that's just a little tip right there. Make sure you get as much air out of it as possible. Again, I've done everything on this Chrysler here on the, as far as the cooling system. We are in South Florida, so I do not have the thermostat inside that inlet there. I don't need heat. Some cars, they'll tell you that yes, you have to have it. I took mine out. It runs a lot cooler. Even when I had my Chevy van, it ran a lot cooler, especially when I was pulling trailers and stuff around. It ran cooler without the thermostat being in there. So anyway, once again, it's DJ Red / the mechanic also. Sometimes you just got to do it yourself. Not that I couldn't afford to put it in, but sometimes I just want it done myself to make sure it's done right. So again, I'm out of here. Make sure you get as much air out of the cooling system as possible. Peace.